What's going on, everybody? It's Monkeyfarm, and welcome to the world tour of my second Let's Play map. As you can see, I have switched into fly mode so that I can fly through and show you everything from all different angles. What I'm going to be doing is going through each video in the series. We're up to episode 95, and I'm going to put a link up in the corner to the original video so that if you missed it the first time around, or if you're just a new subscriber to my channel, you can click the link and go to the original video and watch me build whatever it is I'm showing you. And I'm also going to give you some details about the world download as well. So we're going to skip episode 1 because we loaded that in a beta 1.7 map. And once 1.8 was loaded, we moved over here to these new chunks and we started building the base. And we started over here where the portal was originally, and we had to roam through the dark, having creepers bombard us every place we went. We made it safe down into a mine and collecting more materials. And by the end of the episode, we had built a pretty epic jungle hut right about here. In episode 3, we had built the first version of the mob spawner in the middle of the base, and we actually had an Enderman separator at the time because they didn't teleport away from water, but we later had to rebuild that several times. In episode 4, we had lost all our animals for some reason, so we came over and started exploring the area, and we found a spider spawner, which we later, in a later episode, we built a trap out of. In episode 5, we had found a couple slime chunks, which we dug out and built a slime trap so that we could get slime balls. In episode 6, we had to rebuild part of the mob spawner because Endermen started teleporting away from water. So we actually built the piston pusher mob spawner, which used pistons to push the mobs off the side and down into the trap. In episode 7, we started blasting and digging out this area so that we could build what became the fishbowl with a giant wall of glass underwater so that we could watch our favorite animals, the squid. And this was also known as the underwater thingy place, if I remember correctly. Episode 8, definitely one of my favorites. We started using TNT, and we started using it everywhere. We were blowing up this entire base with TNT to dig down through the stone. And we also had the mob spawner working at that time, where they were falling down and we were getting some good XP out of them. In episode 9, we built our epic Enchanting Room area and our enchanting table, and we also went back down into the slime farm so that we could build a water shut-off valve to turn on and off the slime farm. In episode 10, we came back into the Nether and built our Pigman Farm. As you can see, for a short amount of time, you could actually place water in the Nether by breaking ice. That only lasted a short amount of time, though, unfortunately. In episode 11, we burnt down our beloved jungle hut that we had built in the second episode, and I had a little secret that I was building. We built a little chute to drop the mobs off this other side. And of course, a lot of you guys know what came in episode 12, one of my favorites, and I know it's one of your guys' favorites. We had the Death Bowl. And I also have a tutorial video on this as well. You can see that at my channel homepage. Finally, on episode 13, we were able to actually enchant our armor. So we did that, and of course we were wondering why it was pink, but we didn't care because enchanted armor was epic. Episode 14, another one of my favorites, and I know you guys like this one too. After all this killing of mobs, I became afraid that I would need to escape one day. So I built the TNT Escape Launcher. Woohoo! Survival mode, baby. In episode 15, I did a tutorial on the little cottage that I had built in my first map. because a lot of you guys had requested that, and this is a 16 by 16 plot, that was kind of the standard size on servers at the time, so it was a good size house to build on a server plot. In episode 16, we came back to the brewing room so that we could prepare for the end, the dragon. We were brewing potions and preparing our armor and our tools and everything for the big battle. So in episode 17, we set off to go kill the dragon. And for those of you who I didn't actually show where the end portal was, I headed over this direction, over the hills, through the swamp. And down to the end portal. Defeat the dragon. Episode 18, we made it back to the base, and since we had a ton of XP from killing the dragon, we enchanted a bunch of tools and things like that. We also talked about some new updates that were just out in the game as well. And of course, another one of my favorites, episode 19. We were getting so many slimes, we didn't know what to do with them. We built the slime XP farm up here. And by the way, we also updated the design and made it a little bit better, which I show in the beginning of episode 20. Where we just stand on the pressure plate and it pushes all the XP and slime balls towards us. And then we step away and it shuts off. Now, of course, in episode 20, we also built the KFC Chicken Cooker, which, do you hear any chickens? Of course not, because they're far away up in the chicken coop. We can't hear them, but all we have to do is come flip a switch, and the chickens will come down here into the cooker, which we had to rebuild several times in later episodes as well, which I will go into, and then we can get more chickens, have them automatically go back up to the chicken coop by just turning on this dispenser right here. And we pick up our eggs all along while they are laying eggs, pick them up right here. So we never have to leave the base. And finally, by episode 21, we had blasted out this level of the base. So I decided to do a little landscaping. Monkeyfarm the gardener. And we built this little bridge and water fountain and all of this stuff, the little stream. It was so peaceful until we had squid show up again, of course. Another one of my favorites, underneath the death bowl, which used to be just grass right here, we started doing some more TNT action. And we blew this entire hole to pieces so that we could see down into the quarry, and so that we could head into the abandoned mine shaft that you see right there, and where we have a cave spider farm as well, and another entrance into the slime farm. Of course, we blew up the death bowl a couple times in the process, but it was fun anyway. And of course, this is one of my favorite areas of the base. And another one of my favorites, in episode 23, we made the portal room. Very sweet room. One of my favorites, of course. And we head down into the portal right there. We have lava dripping from the ceiling. This was one of the inspirations in my creeper temple as well from my old map. Now in episode 24, we headed back to the end to build an Enderman Trap. Which was originally my waterless, pistonless mob spawner. Later, I redesigned it to be the piston pusher design, and that seemed to work a little bit better after they changed some of the mob AI, where the Endermen weren't walking off the edge very often. Episode 25, we head down into the quarry again, and we built a minecart elevator. And we did this because we found the abandoned mine shaft, which I can just get to easily here. So episode 25 still, we connected into the abandoned mine shaft, which you can't see much of at the moment here. Now episode 26, we were back in the quarry once again because I wanted to build a floor selection button for the minecart elevator so that we could stop at the abandoned mine shaft if we wanted to. So all we have to do is push this button here and then click up until we stop, and then click out of the minecart and we stop halfway up. And then if we wanted to connect all the way to the top, we would just click up here, and here we are at the top. And episode 27, I know this is one of your favorites. We're heading to the boat launcher. Now of course the boat dispenser that I had built broke later on because of some redstone changes, but we can just place a boat, I guess. Alright, now the boat dispenser, now the boat launcher is a little bit tough. Sometimes it breaks because it hits a block, but woohoo! We made it. Now of course we had to build a way back into the base with our boat. So in episode 28 we built Etho's infamous Eats Road, or I guess it's not infamous, it's just famous. Now let's hope this works. And no, it keeps breaking as well. So there's something to do with boats. And I think I remember complaining about it. Boats kept on breaking. But anyway, that is part of the game. Things break and we either improve them or move on. Now, episode 29 is where I actually built the boat dispenser, which, like I said, no longer works because the boats pop up and for some reason they break hitting the signs or the pressure plate or something like that. But anyway, boats are fragile and they need to fix them still 80 episodes later. On to episode 30. Check out those melons. Oh yeah. Now of course we get a few stragglers out there. But that's all in the game as well. Now, I believe in episode 31, I showed you the automation part. Originally, I just built this with a lever, so 31, I showed you the timer that I had built to push this down and then retract it after the melons make their way up to the collection point. And we also talked about some of the new changes in, I think it was 1.1 update way back then. And episode 32 and 33, the Cave Spider XP Farm. I can't believe it still works. We have two cave spiders, or cave spider spawners here. What we do is flip the switch to trap them. We push the button, oops. We push a button to crush them, and there's a timer down here which crushes them just enough to get them to almost dead. And then what we do, whoops. And then once they're almost dead, we throw a potion at them and come and pick up all the XP. And then we just AFK and wait for more spiders to show up and start the whole process all over again. Or just throw potions at them for fun. And of course later on we built a shut-off system once we had redstone blocks. Now episode 34 was somewhat related to the cave spider farm because we needed a way to transport all the potions and stuff that we made down here and all the wool and string and all that stuff up back to the base and the brewing area. So what we did is built a two-way repeater system where we push the button from either side at either the top of the base or down here, and then a minecart would show up after a certain amount of time with a storage cart, and we would put our stuff into there and send it up on its way. And then we could either call the minecart up from up at the top here, or we could just send it up from the bottom. And we come up here, and here is all of the stuff that we put in the minecart. Now, episode 36, of course, we had the XP farm here, but we had to rebuild the mob spawner once again, but that gave birth to the Mobs on Demand spawner, which I showed you in episode 37. And Mobs on Demand is still the spawner that I use. It uses water to flush the mobs off the side, and the reason we do that is because they changed mob AI so that the mobs don't really walk off the edges of spawner pads anymore. So we just figured we'll do it for them and wash them off with water. And I also have a tutorial for Mobs on Demand as well. You can see that in the mob spawner playlist that I have on my channel. Now, episode 38, we just derped around the base and did some other things, checked out the spawner again, all that kind of stuff. Episode 39, another one of your favorites, we came up here. They had just increased the sky cap here, above the clouds in the game, so I decided to build a giant floating island in the sky. And episode 40, we worked on this again and built the dome, the glass dome around the top. Now, episode 41 has to be another one of my favorites. We actually built this underwater dome. Still one of my favorite places in the base. Now, I showed you how to build this by actually building it above ground with sand and then letting it drop down and then placing the glass over it. It's a really easy way to build underwater. If you haven't seen that one, definitely check it out. Episode 42, we had to run around the base and check out the 1.2 updates. So there were a lot of updates in the game, and we had to run around and check and make sure all of our machines worked. Episode 44, we went way out and found a mushroom island, and we dragged some mushrooms back to the base. It was painful, but it led to episode 45, our mushroom stew machine. We walk up, it dispenses a bowl to us. We click the cow, get our mushroom stew, and then send the cow back so we don't have to listen to him moo. Now, episode 46 is kind of disappointing for me now because a really cool design by a guy named Test. He built this piston transport thing, and it no longer works fully. It used to push us all the way across, and yeah, it only makes it about halfway now. So unfortunately that no longer works, but that was a transport system to get over to the other side of the ocean where we have our floating sky island. Now by episode 47, I figured it was time to build another mob killing machine, so we started building the mob torture chamber. We built yet another chute off of the mob spawner. Sent the mobs into here with our new friend, the Iron Golem, and he basically kills all the mobs except the creepers, and the creepers go into a special place over there where we will do something else with them very soon. Now, episode 48, we built a wireless redstone switch so that we could come down here and just push a button to turn on the mob spawner and wash a bunch of mobs out into the mob torture chamber. Now, I don't think this works as well as it used to. Let's see if it worked. It looks like the switch was on. I didn't check to see if we had any mobs. Yeah, we didn't have any mobs up there. I had just turned off the mob spawner, so it looks like we didn't get very many mobs. Looks like we have a couple creepers in here. So anyway, the mobs drop down here. The Iron Golem kills all of them except the creepers. Now, while we're waiting for the creeper to head up into that little special area that the cats are going to scare him off the edge, hopefully, or they're supposed to. Well, he's a very brave creeper, I guess. Come on, creeper. There we go. Yeah, it takes him a while, but he's going to head up there. Episode 49, we actually worked on the piston transport thing again, but of course that's broken. Now, episode 51, we derped around the base a little bit. Episode 52, 53, we worked on the multi-level wheat farm. which now is actually a wheat, carrot, and potato farm, but it's a multi-level system where we can just come down here, pick up all our stuff as we come down the ladder. And then, of course, we have to replant everything, but we flip off the water switch, and then we can come in here, replant all our seeds and all that good stuff. Now, most of the wheat farm we built in episode 52 and 53. We'll come back a few episodes later and finish it up completely. But in episode 54, what we did is came down, we had a new block introduced into the game, which was the redstone lamp. And we came down here and built a little shut-off system for our spider spawner. We just flip the button, and it'll turn on or turn off the lights in both of the chambers here. Now, episode 55, another one of my favorites. This farm is still definitely top on my list. This is the cocoa bean farm. It's automated. I have two different tutorials on it. One for a massive cocoa bean farm, which I recommend because that has a better design. You push the button here, and bam, we have a smart piston on the top and a rapid pulse on the bottom, which makes it really easy to get a lot of beans just off of one post. Now, the cocoa bean farm was episode 55, and in 56 we finally finished up the wheat farm, which meant we could make cookies. Now, episode 57 and 58, we come back over here to the spider spawner that I found way in the beginning of the series, and we have a dual trap because we couldn't decide whether we wanted to kill them in lava or have them climb up here and drop to their death. So all I have to do is flip the button, and what we did is utilize the new dispensers that came out in the game that could dispense water, and that dispenser basically switches the water direction either to the top here. Once I push the button, the spiders come up this other side, and we burn them in lava and collect the string. Now, in episodes 59, 60, 61, 62, and 63, wow, is when we got into villagers, because a new feature was introduced where villagers could actually trade with you. They couldn't do that before, so we could give them an emerald and get 6 cooked pork chops, for example. So I built a little outdoor villager marketplace here, and a temporary breeding cell to get all these villagers. We carted them over from an NPC village way over that direction. And we also built another underground villager area. And we built some more stores for them, Trader Jeb's and McNotch's and all that. Episode 64 was another awesome episode because we had a new item introduced, the Ender Chest, which was protection to store all of your items. So we checked that out, and we also built an obsidian generator because we need obsidian to make an ender chest. So we did that, and this still works, by the way. Now, episodes 65 and 66 are something that I've since changed again, but what we did is built a binary counter, which basically the point was to have our mob spawner running continuously. It would automatically turn on and shut off every 20 seconds or so, and each time it turned on, it would wash the mobs down to the XP farm down here. Now, episode 67 I'm not going to go into because we tried to build a tripwire system that would throw a potion at us as the TNT launcher shot us through so that we would regain our health more quickly or in the air so that we potentially wouldn't be damaged or we wouldn't die from the TNT launcher. That didn't really work too well because it just shot us up way too fast into the air. So episode 68, we actually built the outdoor village marketplace, and we kind of finished everything up out here. Episode 69, we actually had our first zombie pigman come through the portal into the overworld. It was crazy. We are up here working on the new ghast spawner with the mob sorter system. And episode 70 was another testing video. We had to test some of the new updates of Minecraft 1.3. Now, episodes 71 and 72, we had to rebuild our chicken cooker because they changed the chicken AI. They kind of fight the water stream. So what they did is kind of died on the way up, so they would get stuck in the water and drown, or they would fight the water current, and then we used to have a nether rack with a fire on it here, and they would basically just cook up in the fire and we wouldn't get any of their drops. Now, while we're waiting for all these chickens to come down, in episode 73, we went back down to the slime farm and expanded it. We added another slime chunk that I had found and connected it all up to our existing slime farm. Alright, now that all of our chickens are here, in episode 74, we had to rebuild the chicken cooker again because the bud switch, the lava blade cooker that I had built, wasn't working for some people, so I wanted to make sure I had a foolproof chicken cooker design. So we push the button, lava comes out of the dispenser, it's a quick pulse, and then all the chicken drops are picked up, of course, and none of the chickens are lost and none of the drops are lost. Alright, now episode 75, 76, 77, 78, a little bit of 79, and episode 80, so we're talking 75 through 80, we built a giant ghast mob spawner up here at the invisible chunk error floating island. And we built a record studio down here. So we push the button and we'll get a bunch of creepers in here. And we'll get a skeleton or more over there. Then, of course, I had to switch into survival mode, but once you have the skeleton and creepers down here, this pressure plate will open up this block, so the skeleton shoots at us. And, well, let's see. There we go. He shoots at the creepers. I'm sure this could be improved a little bit. But at some point, he will kill all of the creepers, and you will get a bunch of records. And I think we have just about all of the different colors. Once again, that was episode 75 through 80. Now, episode 81, we headed over to our nether fortress and tried to get a wither skeleton. And we were not able to get any wither skeleton skulls or heads after a long time in trying. So we gave that up for a couple episodes. We went back a few episodes later and finally got them all. Episode 82, we traded some emeralds and things with the villagers. Episode 83, which is how we got this little feller in here. We had a zombie villager that we brought in through the base, and we used the little potions and all that stuff to cure him, and we kept him here. His name is Gandalf, by the way. To go with Bilbo, wherever Bilbo is. There he is. So I think right around that time we named Bilbo as well, the pig, our old buddy. It's been in our intros forever. He's hanging himself on the fence post. He likes getting a little belly rub that way, I guess. Now, episode 84, we went to the far ends of our strip mine, and we placed the wither skeleton skulls into a little trap here where we had water pouring on the wither skeleton, or the wither boss, and we got our nether star, and of course we got to build a beacon after that. So episode 85, we finally got the beacon. We put it right here, and this is level 2 beacon. So we get speed and the normal regeneration or whatever comes with the basic level 1 beacon. So We have all of that. 86 and episode 86 and 87 is when we actually finished up the record studio. Now, episode 88, I spent an hour or so trying to get a carrot drop from a zombie here at the XP farm, and we finally did. We got a carrot and a potato here, and we planted all of that. We made some invisibility potion and some night vision potion. It was really cool. Those potions are awesome, and they're really easy to make too, so if you haven't done that, check it out. And episode 89, we built another shutoff for the expanded slime chunk farm that we had built for the slime chunk. And then finally, episode 90, I think, was when I showed you how to build this little chicken cooker part. Now, of course, episode 91, we had a new snapshot where we got some fireworks, and we messed around with that. Showed a couple different recipes, how to make, various effects of the fireworks and all of that. That was great. I really like these fireworks. Now, episodes 92, 93, and 94, we were working on the Tree of Death. And finally, last episode, in episode 94, we built this little tree house up here in the Tree of Death, giving us some nice views and places to hang out up here. Alright, for those of you interested in the download to check this out in person, all you have to do is go to monkeyfarm.com. There will be a link there. Of course, by doing so, you are agreeing that you will not claim any of this on your own, post any schematics, don't do anything like that. I'm trusting you guys not to do anything stupid, so please respect that. I put a lot of work into the base over the last year or so, and if anybody does see anybody doing something stupid, I'm sure you guys will let me know, and I will appreciate that. Alright, so what is left for the future of this base? So I do have a few more things I'm going to build. I'm going to fix the transport system somehow. I'm going to fix a couple other things in the base. But basically, as it stands, this world is pretty much complete. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and thank you for joining me over the past more than a year. Building this. It was a lot of fun. I still recognize a lot of names from people that have been watching me since the beginning. So, by the way, of course, things are not over. I have already started my third world map, which I expect to be just as epic as this, because we have a lot of new items in the game that have just been coming out, like the hoppers just came out, and ways to transport items, to add them into chests and things like that. So my next base is going to totally take advantage of all of those great features. So definitely make sure you're checking out those videos as well. I have a whole playlist on them. We are up to episode 12 or so now, so things are just starting to get really good. The base is coming along nicely. So make sure you are subscribed so that you know whenever a new video comes out. And thanks again for watching. We'll see you later.